Peace and love spread out the ether. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and for mental health awareness, I decided to put together a little video to help people become aware of anxiety and learn a little bit more about it. But before I get into this video, I want everybody go to Amazon right now and show your support. I got 2 books right now that you can purchase. And if you haven't already, this is a video that you might want to get a piece of paper and a pen and take some notes down, because I promise you the information that I'm going to put in here is very valuable. Back to Mental Health Month. First and foremost, everything I'm about to give you is empirical, so you can look it up. Please, please, please look it up. First, anxiety. What is anxiety? I define anxiety with one word. That one word is fear. Yes, you can say fear and anxiety are the same thing. So when somebody come to me and say, hey, I'm feeling a little anxious, I literally ask them, what are you scared of? Fear is 3 words. Well, I like to say 3 words. I don't know. Literally, if I ask you what fear is, you say, I don't know. You have answered that question correctly. I want you to shrug your shoulders right now. I don't know. I don't know. Whenever you do that, you have created fear. Okay? Write this down. Fear is I don't know, or an unanswered question. Fear is all those questions that you ask yourself in your head and you don't have an answer to. How am I gonna get to work tomorrow? How am I gonna pay this bill? Well, or it may sound like, I don't know how I'm gonna get to work tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna pay this bill, which turns into anxiety. Anxiety is fear, and fear is I don't know. If I want to decrease my anxiety, I just make the unknown known. I know it sounds kind of simple, but it's as easy as that. Now, I like to say anxiety has a location, okay? Anxiety is only located in the future. Take that in for a second. Anxiety is only located in the future, meaning you are only scared of what you think is going to happen. You are incapable of being scared of anything going on right now in the present moment. For example, you ever got a whooping before? Or you ever got into a fight? Before that whooping and before that fight, you were so scared. Oh my God. But then when you was getting your butt whooped or when you was in that fight, you were no longer scared, right? You was thinking, oh, this ain't even that bad. Because fear is no longer there. So now we see that anxiety is something that we make up. Anxiety is your imagination. Anxiety starts with a thought. I don't know is the root of your anxiety. Because every time you ask yourself a question and you don't know about the future, you are going to create fear. I don't know how I'm going to get to work tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills coming up. All of these I don't knows will create what? Fear. And the more you have these thoughts, you're going to activate your endocrine system. What's the endocrine system? Well, for those who don't know what the endocrine system is, you have systems that make up your body. You probably heard of your digestive system, probably heard of your respiratory system, right? You probably heard of your immune system, right? But you have an endocrine and an exocrine system. Long story short, the exocrine system is your tears, your snot, all the chemicals or hormones that come externally out of your body is your exocrine system. Okay. Now, your endocrine system is the same thing, but it works internally. So you have glands that actually excrete chemicals or hormones, if you may, internally. Okay. You probably heard some of these called adrenaline, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin, stuff like that. Right. So what happens is when you have a conscious thought, you activate an endocrine system. That endocrine system now internally gives you an emotion or a feeling. Okay. Now, fear activates your adrenal glands. Now, what chemical do you think your adrenal glands excrete? Adrenaline. Wait, let me take this back. Now, this is the most important thing you really need to understand. Although it releases chemicals when you have a thought, your endocrine system can't distinguish whether your thought is for the future or for the present moment. When you have a thought, about the future, your endocrine system can't tell whether or not you are in the future or in the present. So every thought that you have, your endocrine system reacts as if it's in the present moment. So if you keep thinking about bad things in the future, your endocrine system thinks the future is going on right now. If you have a thought that I'm going to get fired tomorrow, you don't even have a reason why, your endocrine system thinks that you're getting fired right now. So therefore, it excretes chemicals to help you in that situation. Well, every time you have a thought that you don't know the answer to, your body goes into survival mode. We don't know what's going on. So we need to shoot some chemicals out so you can be ready to fight or run to protect yourself. Now, if I keep thinking, I don't know, your body's going to keep giving you adrenaline. What this adrenaline does is it builds up and it gets you jittering, right? Now, what if you don't know if this dog is going to bite you or going to chase you? Then the dog starts chasing you. Well, then the adrenaline is good for that situation because you got adrenaline to run from the dog. But what if you don't know if you're going to pass this test or not? And you got to sit here and take a test. Well, adrenaline is not good for this situation. Okay? Because now you got all of this energy, all of this chemicals that's building you up, and you can't fight the paper and you can't run from it. This is going to become what we call a panic attack or an anxiety attack. If you ever had real bad anxiety, you probably had the bubble guts, right? This is where the adrenal glands are, okay? And it makes you feel nauseated. It messes up your appetite. But what happens is it fills up your stomach, and you have to either throw up or do number two. So now we know that anxiety is fear. Fear is an unanswered question. And if I keep asking myself unanswered questions, I'm going to activate my adrenal glands, which excrete adrenaline, which has my heart racing fast, getting ready to fight or flee. This can be termed as a panic attack or an anxiety attack. You have too much chemicals in you right now for the wrong situation. All of this started from your thoughts. How do I get rid of this stuff? First and foremost, if you're filled with adrenaline in your stomach, probably need to throw it up, eat some food, just soak it up, or poop it out. Most of the time, you're going to have to ride that wave. Once it's going through, you're going to have to ride the wave. But one of the most important things to realize in this stage is not to give yourself any more adrenaline. So what are we going to do to decrease our anxiety? First, we know that it's a thought of the future, and that thought is an unanswered question. All I have to do is make the unknown known. But I may be to a point where I've packed my stomach with adrenaline, right? So I need you to either throw it out like Willie Beeman or poop it out. And y'all know everybody's had the bubble guts. And after you had the bubble guts, you felt better. Your thoughts create an emotion. Your emotions create a behavior. According to Albert Ellis, REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy Model. Look it up. But thoughts create emotions. Emotions create behavior. How? Because when you have a conscious thought, that conscious thought sends neurotransmissions to endocrine system or an exocrine system or just a system in general. And that system gets to excreting glands or it gets to operating according to the thought. Here's a cool thing about decreasing your anxiety. When decreasing your anxiety, we know that anxiety is fear, and fear is an unanswered question. So we need to make the unknown known, right? Well, when making the unknown known, the cool thing is the known does not have to be true. It can literally be a lie. For example, I don't know how I'm going to get to work tomorrow. Well, I know now for a fact I can walk 15 miles to work if I need to. You may not feel like walking 15 miles to work. But saying to yourself, if I have to, I know now I will, your anxiety will decrease. The reason you have anxiety is because you lied to yourself in the first place. So why not lie to yourself in a positive sense? You lied to yourself in a negative sense, and now you feel scared. Lie to yourself in a positive sense, so now you feel confident. Thoughts are going to create an emotion, and emotion is going to create a behavior. You cannot have an action, a behavior, without an emotion. You cannot have an emotion without a thought. So, sum it all up. Anxiety can be defined as fear. Fear can be defined as I don't know. So, if you're feeling a little anxious, all you have to do is ask yourself, what do I keep saying I don't know about? Make that unknown known. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be real. It can literally be some Marvel Comics superhero stuff. But just know it. Don't leave a thought unknown because anxiety will come. Stop telling yourself you don't know. I don't care if you have to make it up. Make it up. Peace and love. I love all y'all. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month.